So, Dana, what should our first video be about?
I don't know. Let's do something impactful.
You mean something meaningful?
No, I mean something that's already been done.
So, something new.
Something old.
Okay, Titanic.
How about Gilbert Grape?
Gilmore Girls.
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption 2.
Ew.
Okay, what about Enemy of the State?
Or, how about the movie that beat it out? Rugrats the movie!
The Rugrats movie came out in 1998.
And it was the first non-Disney animated film to make over 100 mil.
So in other words, Disney got wrecked.
He didn't mean that.
The screenwriters for the first Rugrats movie were J. David Stem and David Wise.
And while both of them shared a similar name, they also shared some screenwriting credits on some of our favorite films, such as Jimmy Neutron the movie and Shrek 2.
And David Wise also helped write one of my favorite movies, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
You know, not all dogs go to heaven.
So the movie opens with the babies going on an Indiana Jones-style adventure, to only be revealed to be at Dee Dee's baby shower the whole time for Tommy's new little sister. Angelica singing causes Dee Dee to go into labor, and then
We meet Dill for the first time.
And Dill ruins this very special moment by whacking Tommy in the face. Stu and Dee Dee are totally sleep deprived. And in a fun fact, deleted scene, they have a hallucination about Dr. Lipschitz.
Which is equally bad and terrible.
It's really very different from what we fantasize. You are doing something wrong when the baby starts to...
Next in the adventure, the twins decide that they've had enough of Dill.
So they take the Reptar wagon and try to take Dill back to the hospital to exchange it for a better baby.
But they fail miserably because then they end up just running down the road in this runaway Reptar wagon.
So all this comes to a head when eventually the babies end up in a forest jungle?
Something to that effect. When the babies end up landing in the woods, they're completely lost and have no idea how to get home. But Tommy has his responsibility.
My responsibility is I got my responsibility. I want my responsibility no more.
But ultimately the responsibility doesn't really help them that much because they end up walking in a circle.
Oh, and did we forget to mention that in the background, Angelica is following them with Spike because Dill took her Cynthia doll and she wants it back. While the babies are wandering around the woods, they end up seeing a shack really far out and with some smoke coming out of it. And they said they believe a lizard lives there.
Wizard.
Lizard.
Okay.
And they want to ask the lizard to give them a wish, and they wish to go back home.
So then they start their journey. For real this time.
While on their journey to find the lizard, they end up in the water. They play with the monkeys, then the monkeys try to kill them.
So after that comes the emotional climax of the movie. This whole movie, Tommy's been ignoring his friends, and overall just been like a bad friend to his best friend Chucky.
He's taking care of his little brother Dill, just like his dad wanted him to, with his responsibility.
He met that baby like a month ago.
But Dill can't do anything on his own. He's only a few weeks old.
He's a liability on this forest adventure.
I mean, but they wouldn't even be in this adventure if Phil and Lil didn't try to take him back to the hospital.
Well, after that, Tommy and his brother do a bonding moment, which I can admit is really sweet, actually.
Dill grows as a character and stops being a selfish little baby. After that, Tommy makes his way with Dill back to the other babies.
Which they have decided to forgive Tommy for some reason.
Which became more important because they're being attacked by the monkeys again. And this time they get chased onto a bridge.
And this bridge is kind of bad.
Oh, and they also find Angelica along the way.
Or more so, Angelica finds them.
And she's being chased by a wolf.
Oh yeah, she was being chased by a wolf, wasn't she?
She was, yeah. He was tracking her like the whole time. On the bridge, the monkeys run away, but just to find that the wolf that's been tracking Angelica scared them away.
Spike tries to protect the babies. Or rather, he does protect the babies.
But he ends up falling off the bridge with the wolf, and he dies. Anyway, the babies, and even Angelica, are super upset about it.
To the point where when they finally reached the wizard, instead of using their wish to go home, they wished to get Spike back.
Just to find out that Spike actually never died. He was just under the bridge. He was actually waiting for someone to get him. And the wizard ended up being Stu, stuck in one of his inventions he was using to help try to track the babies down.
Yeah, so from that point on, the movie ends and everyone gets reunited.
And Charlotte even throws away her phone, just so happy that she found her daughter again.
And that's the end of the Rugrats movie.
Not yet. At the end of the end of the movie, they have one more okie dokie adventure where they successfully get the banana statue with the help of Dill, making him part of the group. Some of the themes we want to talk about in this movie are responsibility and change. For example, we feel like the movie really revolves around Tommy and Dill's relationship a lot.
Despite the movie seeming to be framed by Chucky's perspective, seeing that he narrated the beginning and end of the movie, a lot of it took place around Dill and Tommy's relationship.
After Dill was born, Dill was a huge pain in the butt, always crying and taking all of the attention. It was a huge change for Tommy. He wanted a baby brother or a baby sister, but Dill became such a pain that it literally took all the attention away from him.
And overall, I don't think Tommy wanted that much ultimately. He just wanted a little book read to him.
Which Dee Dee and Stu couldn't even do because Dill was such a handful. There's literally a scene where poor Tommy is holding Stu's shoe, trying to get his attention, while Stu and Dee Dee are singing to Dill, and don't even realize when he goes into the closet to go to sleep, and he's not even in his bed.
So you admit they're bad parents now.
I admit they may be a little distracted.
Also, in terms of responsibility and what that means to Tommy, Tommy has a physical representation of his responsibility. The pocket watch that his dad gave him.
With that pocket watch, throughout the movie, once they're lost in the woods, you kind of see him take it out of his diaper, put it back in his diaper, but eventually, towards the end of the film, he actually starts wearing it around his neck all the time.
That shows that responsibility isn't something that you can just put away and take out when it's convenient. It's something that you have to embody at all times to really show it.
And this change happens after Tommy realizes that he loves his brother no matter how much of a pain he is and how much trouble he causes.
Despite that, I still think Tommy could have been a little more considerate to his friends.
But he was just trying to be a good and responsible big brother.
But in doing that, he became an irresponsible friend. Tommy was a leader of that group. If you watch the series, Tommy was always in charge. Tommy took lead and guided them on adventures. Now, granted, Tommy didn't initiate this adventure, but he still was the leader, and he let everyone else down.
But who's to say that the other babies just weren't relying on him too much? Tommy had a lot on his plate. He's trying to get his friends home, trying to get his little brother home, and he's trying to take care of his little brother. He needs a diaper change, he needs to be fed.
All I'm saying is Tommy already had a lot of responsibility at the beginning, and he got rid of some to take care of his brother, which I don't think is a bad thing, but at the same time, I think that his friends kind of suffered for it.
But can't this just play into another theme of the movie is selfishness? See, the whole part of what started their adventure was that Phil and Lil were very selfish. Going over Tommy's wasn't fun anymore because Dill was always crying and causing problems. So they decided to take him back to the hospital, and in doing so, they failed because they got them lost in the woods.
How can you call Phil and Lil selfish without talking about the most selfish character in this whole movie?
Who, Angelica?
No, Dill Pickles.
Well, of course she's selfish. All newborn babies are always selfish. They don't know how to do anything on their own. They can't eat on their own. They can't go to the bathroom on their own. In fact, at the end of the day, all they know how to do is what they want. They want attention. They want food. They want the blanket that's across the room.
But in our world. But this is the Rugrats universe, baby. Where babies have the intelligence and the wherewithal to make these complex Rube Goldberg machines in order to get what they want. So I'm willing to say that Dill was a little more capable than he was letting on.
I don't know. I mean, he still couldn't even walk. I mean, in one scene, Tommy's literally dragging him underneath the tree trunk. So he definitely couldn't walk. Though somehow the babies could understand what he said. A little bit.
All I'm saying is, my theory is that Dill, this whole movie, could have participated, could have been a team player. I mean, he obviously understood what was going on to some extent, but no. He chose to be a baby and cry about it. And he had to baby up and try to help and be part of the team.
But that's also part of the character growth all the characters face throughout the movie. By the end of the movie, Dill is a team player, and he understands he can't always be selfish.
And I guess, at the end of the movie, he is shown helping them with their okie dokie adventure.
Yeah, again, just symbolizing that they started to accept him, and he learned to be a team player. So now they're all going on adventures together.
Okay, maybe Dill isn't the most selfish character in the movie, but...
I mean, let's face it, Angelica still holds the crown.
I mean, Does she?
I mean, give or take, she does have her moment in the film where, when they thought Spike died, and they could have wished to go home, but even she agreed they wanted to wish to have Spike back. But the whole point that she even followed them into the woods was because Dill had her Cynthia doll. She didn't do it out of concern of the baby. She did it because she wanted her doll.
But Cynthia's more than that. More than a doll to... But Cynthia's more than a doll to Angelica. Cynthia is Angelica's best friend. So...
If you think about it, Cynthia isn't even alive. And Angelica would actually have more friends if she learned how to share more.
Yeah, but Cynthia not being alive doesn't matter to Angelica. To Angelica, Cynthia is the most real thing in her life. Yeah, sure, she has her flaws, but ultimately, Angelica was just trying to get her best friend back, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but she still cared more about a doll than, like, her baby cousin.
Well, Angelica didn't know her baby cousins were in trouble. When Angelica left, she just followed them. It wasn't a they're being harassed by monkey situation. Angelica had no idea what was going on. She just knew that her doll wasn't there, and the babies took it.
We'll agree to disagree for now.
Well, I guess that's the entire movie now.
And it wasn't a bad one.
Yeah, it was probably one of my top 3 favorite Rugrat movies.
I mean, there are only 3 Rugrat movies.
What about that All Grown Up special? You don't count that?
I mean, yeah, no. We're not going to talk about the all grown up stuff right now.
Get to that. So, even though I still think Drew and Dee Dee are terrible parents, I really did enjoy this movie.
And despite the fact that I question our friendship now for all these arguments we've been having over this movie, I still watch this movie even today. I love it.
So next time,
the Rugrats are heading to Paris.
And so are we. We.
We.
Was there anything else you needed to get on this one?
No, I think that was it.
Okay.
Because after that, it's just going to be,